Stolas, sir!
I'm fine.
Yes, out of everything that I have seen from a variety of artists, posts, GIFs, and media that deals with rule number 34. Don't judge me! I am trash. But these two got me to actually take the time to binge the most successful animated YouTube series of all time. Yeah, I said it. Mr. Black and Mr. White's personas are what got me to watch Helluva Boss. It wasn't this furry bait, it wasn't that furry bait, it was these furry baits, who we'll probably never see in the series again. What the f is wrong with me? Anyways, I'm pretty sure you are questioning why the hell it took me so long to finally hop in on the hype dildo of this series. Well, to keep it simple, I do have the tendency to not really want to hop into a series that gets a really huge following unless I'm incredibly intrigued with the overall concept. Plus, with the fact that this is an animated web series, the patience has to be incredibly strong for me to stay interested in said series. Hell, the YouTube animation community is something that I was heavily involved in myself as a voice actor, so I've been somewhat behind the scenes of how some of these series operate. Granted, a majority of those web series were run by teenagers who have no idea what they're getting into and end up being canceled before even reaching the pilot episode. It's a rarity to see a series be fully completed, but is a really huge accomplishment when they reach that sentiment. So yes, Vivzy didn't break that mold. She and her team absolutely sliced it in half. Even then, I wanted to at least have a handful of episodes to watch so that I can give my perspective of Helluva Boss. So with the start of the second season arriving, I took it upon myself to finally dive in. So here's my perspective on Helluva Boss. What can I say except it's absolutely incredible! How could I not give this series a lot of praise with the amazing presentation that was offered? It is quite clearly the strongest portion of the show, and it's not even close. I feel this is the best to offer in the style of Vivzy out of all the projects that have been placed on the channel. Personally, I was never the biggest fan of the character designs, as I feel they tried to force a design to look unique from your normal animated show to the point where none of the characters fit well together design-wise. This did not have that problem whatsoever. All of the characters were cohesive and fit extremely well to the world that we were introduced in. Now, of course, the biggest point that they clearly went above and beyond in is the action series. Because holy shit, this show has the most seamless fight choreography I have witnessed in a series. They absolutely killed it with the amount of carnage and mayhem we see as the IMP crew goes off in each battle they are a part of. I think the only downside is that there can be times where there's way too much going on to the point where it can be hard to follow what's going on at times, especially in the early going of the series. However, that's expected, and I'll get into why later. So yeah, it's hard not to gush over the amazing work the animation team has done, as each scene felt like it was done with amazing passion and dedication to the series as a whole. Now, I'm not going to lie, it took me a bit for this cast to grow on me. A lot of them start off to be a bit one-dimensional, but as each episode I watched, there were definitely characters that truly shined as they went on. The chemistry between all of them were built in interesting ways that help intertwine the cast to build interesting relationships. So what does each character have that helps make Helluva Boss a well-oiled machine? Well, let's start off with Blitz. The O is silent, if you didn't know. So when we talk about an angry gremlin who is very insecure about his status within the demon world, he'll be the first one you think of. I think he easily has the most intrigue as a character with the way he shows his care for his employees. The best way to describe it is...
No. The reservation is for us.
Uh-huh.
Shut up, Dad! Oh, Blitz!
Millie, I am not above hitting a female in front of her daddy.
Well, what you would expect from a company living in hell. He's someone who is extremely desperate for attention and love from both a platonic sense and a sexual sense. The dude is a great manipulator and will do anything to get what he wants. Even with the sweet talk, he has a tendency to be hot-headed and be verbally aggressive if things don't go his way. The thing that makes him is that he does have one of my favorite tropes in being a disgruntled character that's really a big softie. And they do an excellent job in blossoming that when the series goes on.
Now, just remember, your rep with the in-laws is on the line here, so no pressure at all. You totally will not make an ass of yourself in front of everyone important in your life. Go get him, Tiger.
Oh.
So next in line, we have Moxxie and Millie. Yes, I'm putting them both in one category because they are one unit. These little buggers are married, and honestly the show does a fantastic job at showing how the two keep the traditional standards of a marriage. With the amount of sexualization within the show, these two keeping it monogamous was very sweet and is definitely one of the more wholesome out of the series. Moxxie, who is voiced by the ever so talented Richard Horvitz, is an excellent being with a lot of high morals within the IMP. I like him a lot because while he isn't the strongest of the two, he is usually the one with the leveled head and tries to be the voice of reason. He aims to see the good in others, unless he be jelly of others who see themselves as better than him. Anyways, he is an adorable being that I can't get enough of. He goes on the list for best boy for me. Respectfully, Millie is okay. She doesn't really do a whole lot for me outside of being the stronger of the pair that embraces Moxxie anytime she has the chance. Yeah, that's basically it. I wish there could be more to her than being the knight in shining armor to Moxxie. While the role reversal dynamic can be fun to play around with, she doesn't have much else to raise interest within the series. I think it would be great to see Helluva Boss give these two more hurdles in keeping their relationship stronger, as having a monogamous relationship in a setting that's filled with deviancy has a lot of potential to it. But it barely gets touched, if at all.
Moxxie, stop shaking! You're gonna shoot our only hail ham. Wow, I feel so loved here.
Meet Loona, the female furry bait. You know I'm freaking right! In all seriousness, Loona is the secretary of the IMP. To keep it real, she's probably the most one-dimensional out of all of the cast. Don't get me wrong, the goth girl trope is very popular to show the independence of the woman in a show. However, it's very limiting to what you can do to make her more interesting than where she currently is. The only thing they've done to show out her personality is try to force this father-daughter bond with Blitz, and also the one crush we have to root for. These have never been done before this character trope, not at all. Don't get me wrong, she's not a bad character. It's just that there's very little attempt to make her stand out on the large amount of characters that fit in this bubble. And it's frustrating because she has a great look. I mean, to be honest, her and Octavia are interchangeable, because Octavia has the same father-daughter relationship as the next character we'll discuss.
What?
Why, hello, my big-dicked Blitzy.
What the fuck?
Dad!
Language, everyone.
Talking about a horny bottom, that's a dad segue. Stolas is honestly the most intriguing character of the series, hands down. I'm not going to lie, he had a rocky start with me with all the...
I cannot wait to feel your slimy inside of my
Yeah, but as the season went on, he definitely grew on me. While he is royalty, he has a special bond with Blitz that can be seen as friends with benefits. However, that bond absolutely crumbled what little stability he had with his family. cause the man is fucking married. What a twist! Having an affair that turns out to be gay. What a way to show gay rap. While on paper, there is definitely things that you can hate about this situation because he literally fucked over his entire family. Even then, they do a fantastic job in helping present what caused this dude to be wings over talons with this deviant imp. They dive into the hardships of getting into a marriage you don't want extremely well. I can't blame him either because his wife is a complete psychopath. He easily has the strongest dynamic with those that are close to him, being his daughter Octavia, his wife, and Blitz in particular. Like, Stolas and Blitz's relationship is honestly the most intriguing as it is the most explored out of all the storylines within the series. Plus, it seems to be the frontrunner of the show as they really explored it with the season 2 premiere. However, I am gonna hold my breath on that considering the story direction is one of my gripes, which leads into... Alright, I will reiterate that I completely understand that this is a fully online web series on YouTube. A project like this has one episode every 6 months if it has the dedication. Everything is written, drawn, voice acted, directed for one episode at a time because the production team as a whole is significantly smaller compared to a regular series you can watch on a streaming site or a channel. So please know, I do understand that this is a common issue through a lot of these types of series that get shown up online. But it's still my biggest criticism nonetheless. The show is incredibly inconsistent. I feel that Helluva Boss wants to trend towards the episodic, turning into a cohesive storyline route. But I think the show is trying way too hard to hit you in the feels. They want to give each of these characters a spotlight to shine as the main protagonist for a specific episode. But to say these small stories help build the main plot of the show would be stretching it for me. Yes, there's a lot of potential in the seeds that are there. Stolas' family situation, Blitz's struggles with loneliness, Moxxie and Millie's relationship. They all have something about them that I like a lot. But they just don't do a great job at mixing it all together to really grab my attention. It's a very difficult thing to do, especially for a web series that is thriving. I do hope that we see more consistency in the story in Season 2. Also, I will say for the comedy, it is a hit or miss at times. They know how to hit the small jokes, and those are the ones that I enjoyed the most, so there's props for that. The unhinged comedy is not usually something I go for, but I think for what it has, I can appreciate it. Even if it isn't necessarily for me. The story has a lot of good in it. It just needs to be polished in the consistency side of things. So, do I think the series was good? It's enjoyable at times. I think the big thing is really having to find that footing of what they want the show to really be about. I think the characters are all fun in their own way and have fantastic chemistry with the voice work being portrayed here. The world in itself is very fast and interesting, and witnessing the characters that transition from human to demon was pretty cool. However, there are certainly a few characters I would love to see stretched out more than some of the tropes that are originally presented, and possibly dive into certain storylines that don't really get touched in a demonic setting. It's not my personal favorite web series out there, but I give it credit where credit is due. Until then, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.